you know, it's inevitable that you're going to run into games where the competition that you are going to face is going to be at the next level, that we have to play a better game, right? Our warm-up is a reflection of that, right? So if I'm our opponent right now and I'm watching that warm-up, I'm saying, Goffstown.
During the pregame warm-up, everything was weird, and I say that because we watched the way the fielders perform in that pregame routine, and you've seen enough of it now. You know we run that same warm-up every time. They know it like the back of their hand, and yet they couldn't get into rhythm. They were making some really weird moves to the ball. They weren't settling real well.
When we are on offense, we will keep the speed up, force them to not have composure. When you're on defense, you have to slow the game down and stay composed. Some of you are not doing that. Some of you are not because it's just inexperience, and some of it's just nerves. So you need to take a deep breath. Okay?
You know, we got there and we were warming up, and we weren't as focused as we normally were, and that kind of bothered me. Because Milford is a tough team, obviously, and I knew that we needed every single person to be on board that day, and we just didn't have that feel that we normally do before a game, and so that kind of made me nervous, and being out on the mound, that kind of made me nervous as well.
I don't care about wins or losses, I care about a solid level of compete, and that's what we're working for today, a solid level of compete against a divisional team that is also difficult to play, okay? And that is going to give us a good chance out there to win this game. If she gets into trouble, we have help for her, and we also have help on the offensive side. All right? We don't have to do this alone. Nobody's playing this game alone. We are a team. We play it like a team. Talk, talk, talk. We'll control the pace of the game. Okay? And at the end of it all, we'll see how it shakes out. Let's go. Let's go. All right.
1, 2, 3, go down!
Where's your hat, by the way? Oh.
Don't think that we were necessarily expecting a kind of game like that. It started off really close, like neck and neck, and then it's just slowly like they just started like hitting like crazy, and we were just having an off day. It just wasn't in our favor that day.
What made it interesting to me about that game was it just had a funny feel about it. It was cold, it was raw, we didn't look right, and yet we still made pretty good defensive plays. It really boiled down to a couple of hits that we couldn't get to, but yeah, I did have a bad feel. We felt it at the beginning of that game.
So as a pitcher, I try everything I can, to get them off balance, keep them guessing on when I'm going to throw. But, sometimes I either don't get the pitch that I want to, or, they just make a good hit. And at that point, I am like, okay, that was a good hit. Like, you're a good hitter. I give props to you. But in the same token, I also am that much harder on myself because I'm like, oh, well, I should have done this, I should have done that kind of mentality. But I definitely do give the hitters props when they can hit the ball.
Yeah, it's tough, like, once the other team starts to get going and, like, they start getting energy, hard to stop that. So, like, yeah, we just have to end the inning and, like, try to restart, get our energy up.
The ball sometimes will find the open grass and hit the ground, and the runners will start moving. And so, everybody wants that to happen.
It's hard to accept at first, especially on the field, but after the fact, like when you go to talk about the game with somebody, you just really have to accept the fact that they have good games, we have good games, we all have good games, and it's nothing you can really help when they just start hitting as long as you're not making errors. It just happened to be there hitting the gaps, and it's the way it works.
Games like that, it's easy to get bummed out and lose the momentum and that kind of thing. So the fact that we were still trying and we weren't giving up on ourselves is huge for us, because you can't give up on yourself and you have to keep trying, because if you do, then you don't have a chance either way.
And I was okay with the loss there because it was an error-free game. I mean, they hit the ball, and we didn't hit the ball. We didn't hit well at all, and we had been sort of a victim of seeing some really struggling off-speed pitchers from some of the weaker programs in Division II, and so we roll into Milford where we get a normal pitcher back on the mound again, and now we need to make an adjustment. And if you look at all these tight games we've been playing in the past week and a half against good opponents, it's because we've gone back to swinging the bats normal, going after regular pitches, and it's really a good postseason ramp up for us. But that Milford game, we were coming in after playing some teams that were struggling to deliver pitches to the plate, and now we have to deal with a good pitcher. And we look at our pregame preparation for that and say, did we do enough? And obviously we didn't. And the girls knew that, and so we had to make some adjustments, and we just didn't do it fast enough. We certainly wanted more time. If you look what happened once we switched speeds, they stopped scoring, the game went right back to normal again, and everybody settled down, but the damage...
I think we just shook it off, took a new start, wanted to just do the games for the rest of the week. And
it was a really hard first loss, that's for sure, because we hadn't had a loss until Milford, and I for sure would not want to go undefeated this whole season. It's just a big weight on your shoulders when you get to the postseason, and it's just so stressful, and you're like, oh, we can't lose now for sure because we're done. So it's better to just get the mistakes out, get the errors, get all the losses you need to get out before we start the postseason. But I hated losing. Nobody likes losing, but it makes you better, and it makes you realize that nobody's perfect and can't have a perfect season all the time.
Yeah, I've always been one for, not having that undefeated season. Obviously, it's awesome having the undefeated season, and it feels great. But in that same token, it feels too great almost, and I think people get caught up in that really easily. So having that loss under our belts is kind of like, okay, the pressure's off. You don't have to focus on winning every single game. You can just play.
I feel like going undefeated the whole time there's a lot of pressure build up, and everyone wants to beat you. So now that we have a loss, it's kind of we can breathe a little bit.
I think they refocused pretty quickly. I think they were they took a deep breath. There were a lot of wins that had taken place. We're heading into Milford with all these wins, and they know what that's like to have that looming over their head, to have that undefeated status, and knowing that they're a top-tier divisional team, and they're like, this doesn't feel right. We're not having the best warm-up here today. Things are starting to bother us. Now we're here at Milford, and so when they played out that game, I wondered how they would respond. The coaches hoped that they would handle that and take what they learned from that game, and they did. I thought the seniors were awesome. They talked with the team. They refocused the team. One of the conversations that they actually had with those girls, the remaining 6 said to the girls, hey, listen, on the bus ride out, it's about focusing in on the game. And they did that. Our preparation now and our pregame preparation is a lot of focus. And I think the Milford game gave us that. It gave us another reason to pay attention to the little things. And I was proud of what the seniors did there to really focus the girls. And I watched them come right back to work. They didn't have their heads down. They stay out there and they battle. And what was great about that is the games that followed and have been following that game, they're playing hard. And they're playing hard into extra innings.
We knew what we did wrong, and we knew we needed more hits and that kind of thing. We needed to string more of those together. So we were very focused on, learning from the mistakes and improving and doing anything we can, to get better and learn from that game.
We've all done a really good job. From the beginning of the season to now, we've done a lot of progress. We've settled in. Our batting has got back up to where it needs to be when we need it. So yeah, I'm excited for the next playoff season.
It's a slow progression. I was telling the girls it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? And so we have been making great adjustments. One of the things we first did was say, let's crack down and get these people into the positions that they play the best for us, and then let's figure out what our lineup can do and where we find our strength in the lineup. And then additionally, getting them to play error-free softball. Then I watched them turn around and make outstanding plays, come right back to the plate and start battling with their bats. And so those were the things that we needed to see start happening. Additionally, what we're getting extremely great appearances by our pitching staff, and they're able to integrate one another into the game seamlessly without complaint and make big innings for us happen from the mound. And so when that happens, it makes these girls very dangerous and tough to play because you don't know what they're going to do.